This next play against Washington, just an old-fashioned stunt. Defensive linemen switch spots, and doesn't matter. It's just two guys getting blocked in different places than they thought they were going to get blocked. For all of the meanness and power that Fuaga has, I love seeing the patience on display to just wait for that second defender, not to get over eager, and also to very cleanly pass off this initial assignment inside. Hello, good people, New Orleans Saints fans, football fans, and random internet viewers who are at least a little bit curious about how football is played at the pro and college level. My name is Tim Noonan. I've been a Packers fan actually for the last 20 years, but I've been a fan of scouting football players in college for the last 8 years, and today I will be doing a video breakdown of the New Orleans Saints first-round draft pick, Taliese Fuaga, out of Oregon State University. My favorite pick in this draft, my favorite player. Just a ton of fun to watch. Excited to get into it. If you like the video, make sure to take a chance to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that little bell so that you know the next time I'm on here talking about football at the pro or college level. Without further ado, let's get into what to expect from this breakdown of Taliese Fuaga. The first part of his game I'm going to talk about is sort of the foundation of everything. It's what keeps him on the field. It's what makes him a serviceable offensive lineman. It's his ability to throw down the anchor in pass blocking and to time his attacks with patience in pass blocking. So we'll look at some reps there. He's very good. There's still a little bit of room for growth and shoring up some issues, but overall, very, very adept blocker in the pass. The second area we're going to look at is just his ability to absolutely maul defenders in the run. This guy had so many pancakes. It was hard to keep count at times. So, he gets a full weight of his body into defenders, and they're done. And he moves really well in space as well. In addition to the power that he has, it's a lot of fun to watch. The third area that I'll look at in his game is just his speed and stamina, because I think this is probably the biggest area of growth, is just his quickness in short areas, as well as just the stamina to continue finishing blocks even when he's tired. So we'll look at some plays where, he probably could have won some blocks if he was a little bit quicker or had a little bit better conditioning. And his conditioning in 2023 was such a level up from where it was in 2022. I expect the same thing is going to happen when he gets to the NFL. He's only going to be better conditioned. The last area of his game we'll look at is less about the physical strengths and just how dominating he is, but more about what's going on between his ears, how he reads defensive lines, in particular, how he responds to situations when there are two assignments that he's responsible for, or if there's a stunt, how he reads through those things. He handles those situations really well, so I've just picked out a few examples to look at that. Overall, New Orleans Saints fans, you all got a winner in this guy. It is unfair that you get to have him on the other side of Ryan Ramczyk, and I won't waste any more time. We'll get into why exactly it is so damn unfair. Against UCLA in 2023, we're just going to see what happens when he makes contact with a linebacker. You see he is responsible at first for just securing this double team, making sure that initial defensive lineman is sealed off. Then he moves to the second level, and when he moves to the second level, this poor linebacker doesn't have a chance, just absolutely thrown back behind the first down marker. This just gives you a little bit of a sense of the power that he has in his game. Now, in particular, in the pass, what we'll see here is just his timing with hands to completely shut down this defensive lineman. So it almost feels unfair to look at games. It almost feels unfair to look at game film against Utah because their defensive line was very undersized last year. But even still, waits to get that hand up and in there, and this defensive lineman just never has a chance to go ahead and get any ground or get around Fuaga. Fuaga just waits for him, puts his hands on him, and that's it. It's over. Against Oregon in 2023, what we will see here is him just throwing down the anchor, holding his ground against a bull rush. Just takes on this defensive lineman well. And really the only way to attack Taliese Fuaga in a way that you have a chance to move him is in a situation like this in 3rd and 6 when the defense knows, all right, pass is coming here. They're down 14. They have to go through the air to attack. So this defensive lineman gets to throw his full weight into Fuaga. And even knowing that, I mean, Fuaga just throws down the anchor, completely absorbs this defensive lineman. And honestly, I would like to see Fuaga throw down a little bit better of an anchor here. I'd like to see him not stutter back a couple times there. I think he has the power to hang in there, but this is a clean rep. That quarterback's pocket is clear, and that defensive lineman never had a chance to get there. Now, look, I love the guy. I'm wearing his jersey. I asked for it for Christmas because when I saw him play in December, I was like, this guy plays football a way that I can really respect. But it doesn't mean he's perfect. He's definitely got areas of growth. So just, for the compliments I'm giving him on his power, anchor, and in particular his timing, we'll see there's definitely some growth for him in how quickly he puts his hands out there for defensive linemen. This becomes important against those really technically skilled defensive linemen like we'll see here, Laiatu Latu for UCLA, number 15 there at the bottom of the defensive line. Latu is a technician. He is a plus athlete, and so you cannot expose yourself because he will take advantage of those weaknesses, which there are not many for Fuaga. And so I can only imagine that when Fuaga gets back here and both of his hands, you see his white gloves, both of those hands are out. I mean, Latu is, he's got to be foaming at the mouth because that's so easy to swipe away. And ultimately, Fuaga has the size and power to kind of just collapse on him, throw him into the interior of the line. But Latu does a good job to make this a really tough rep on Fuaga. When Latu pushes Fuaga's hand away, you can kind of see that moves Fuaga aside just a little bit, and Latu can get into that inside shoulder and has a little bit of an alley to the quarterback. Now, again, Fuaga collapses. The pass goes clean, totally fine. You really have to nitpick at the level that Fuaga plays at, but this is definitely a nitpicky area for me. Just want to see those hands get a little bit cleaned up here. Now, a successful patient. Now we are back to Oregon in 2023. Just a successful rep showing patience and strength against a very skilled defensive lineman in Brandon Dorlus. Dorlus initially aligns over the middle of the defensive line here, just kind of outside the shoulder of the guard. And Oregon runs a stunt here, and Fuaga just completely absorbs him. Now, what I like here is his eyes are up. He hasn't committed to trying to put his hands out here for this edge defender who stunts inside. He just absorbs Dorlus. Dorlus can't get any ground on him, and that's a solid rep. And Brandon Dorlus is a 4th-round pick. Went to the Atlanta Falcons. Very excited to see what he does with them. I think he's a solid pickup for them, and I think he's got a good skill set as sort of an agile and quick interior defensive lineman, but wouldn't know it from this rep because Fuaga shuts him down pretty well. The second area of Fuaga's game that we're going to get into is my favorite part of his game. This is what made me a fan of him. It is just how aggressive he is in the run. When he is blocking the run, there is ill intent in this guy's heart. Like, he really seems like he means to harm people. And he on this play, we've seen him against some smaller defenders, and it's one thing to have power against smaller defenders and shut those guys down. But here, we got a big fella right over the middle here, and just does a nice job engaging him, moving him down the line of scrimmage. He makes this look really easy. This is not easy. That is a large man. And Fuaga just has low leverage, just a strong base, and walks him up out of there. This is just, you don't see offensive linemen walk guys out that cleanly all the time, and it's special when you do. Against UCLA in 2023, we see him move another big fella off the line here. 3rd and 2, you need to get some yards. You know what? The rest of the offensive line doesn't get there, but you see Fuaga is 2 yards behind the line, behind the first down marker with his man. We'll look at this in half speed because it is a thing of beauty. Just the simple stuff he does. Comes out of this block low, then leverages up, gets up under that guy's pads, and then just drive, chug, chug, drive, finish the block. I mean, he goes to the whistle every time, gets very close to past the whistle a lot of the time. Um, you just he has the strength to finish blocks, and he does so consistently. And I mentioned at the top, I have some questions about his quickness and some stamina. That doesn't mean this guy is slow. His play speed, when he is a puller in the run, as we'll see here, he gets out there quickly and he does damage in short order. So what we're seeing here is he's just a puller on this toss play, gets out there, and God help this linebacker who gets thrown again. Like, this is the same guy who we saw get pushed earlier. This is not a linebacker who's bad by any means. This is just an unfortunate assignment because Taliese Fuaga is about 325 pounds of mean, just riding out to the edge here. I mean, he carries so much power in between his shoulders. He doesn't have the heaviest hands in this draft class. I think that's probably Troy Fautanu or Joe Alt from Notre Dame. But Fuaga probably has the strongest base, I think, in this class, and he throws people around pretty regularly. And here against Oregon in 2023, we just see him on a very nice run block, just driving with his teammate here. Then when his teammate breaks off, he just finishes the block. Drive. All right, keep fighting, finish until your man is on the ground. And offense gets a nice run behind him. It's just there's so much to like here. He's low out of the snap. Hands get extended. He's driving, and he just finishes this block really well. In this third section, I will talk about the limits of his speed and stamina as it stands. I think this guy has still not reached the peak of his athletic powers. I think he still can get a shade quicker. I think his stamina is only going to improve in the NFL because, again, from 22 to 23, I did see a huge step up in his ability to hang in there for longer durations during plays and throughout the entire game, just finish more and more blocks in 2023. So I expect he's going to continue improving his conditioning. I expect that's what he's doing right now while we're all enjoying our summers. So on this play, what we see here is this edge defender just gets outside of him, beats him here. And the quarterback for Oregon State, DJ Uiagalelei, really like this guy's game. He's fun to watch. But DJ does not help Taliese here. Probably evades this pocket way too quickly. Just looking at the offensive line, everybody's covered really well. I mean, this is like a portrait of a perfect pocket. It's a perfect half circle. You can literally see the clear jersey shoulder to shoulder between every defensive lineman and the quarterback. Not sure why he bails here. I think he wants to get a better angle for this throw. Almost an interception. It's tough. But that said, we've seen the speed and the strength that Fuaga has here. I don't know if this is a stamina issue. I don't know if this is something that he's just really not willing to go outside here because why would he? Because the pocket, just looks like the edge defender is going to take himself out of this play, except DJ is back there. So I would like to see Fuaga finish this play. I think he could be a little bit quicker. Maybe this is a stamina thing. I don't know for sure what it is, but just want to see him finish this play. Going back to 2022, here I'll show an example of one of the lapses in stamina. When he comes out of his snap here, he's high, and with that high leverage, he can't quite land hands on this edge defender who gets inside of him and just ultimately blows up this play. So just high, defender slips past him. That puts the running back in a tough spot, and the running back has to really fight to get these yards. Hold team here is very fortunate. This isn't a tackle for loss. But Fuaga really just, again, right, you see him almost completely stand up. The defender is able to slip inside because he has the defender has good leverage on Fuaga, and the hands just don't land. Puts the running back in a tough spot. It just looks like he's tired on this play. Getting this secondary angle here, you see a little bit more closely, right? Just high. He doesn't land this block well. I think he's trying to reach maybe for the outside shoulder. He just doesn't get there. And again, number 8 here makes a play. This is great to make some chicken salad for the offense. But just don't want to see that happen. And the only reason I highlight this is not to say like, oh, you know what, he was bad before, because he's not. He's not bad. What this really is to highlight is just, I think, at any point in a player's career, when challenges, adversities, struggle, whatever, when those things hit, I think there is always a chance for a player to regress to a lesser version of themselves. And so, if he hits adversity and regresses, some of the things that might start to slip back in are this lack of quickness, this high leverage, this poor conditioning and stamina that leads to those things. So just some things to think about, but not really anything to think about too much, because I got the guy's jersey. Like he's so fun to watch, man. Against Oregon in 2023 here, I think he is just a tick slow versus Brandon Dorlus. And ultimately he recovers. He gets back in between Dorlus and the quarterback. But Dorlus just he sets up a nice little double move here to get to the outside on a speed rush. He probably could have gotten to the quarterback a little bit more quickly, but not a horrible rep by Fuaga. Just want to see him block these a little bit more cleanly, because initially gets himself set in good position here right out of the snap. He has one hand up, which again, as I brought up earlier, I don't love that the hands are out. I want those to kind of stay a little bit just closer to his body, so that then they're not vulnerable to be swiped away. But he has this left hand just sort of closer to his body, so maybe he's trying to bait Dorlus so that he can attack in a different way. In any case, Dorlus quickly closes the ground between himself and Fuaga, puts a nice little rip move on him, and it's a good speed rush by Brandon Dorlus. This is the kind of thing where you see like, oh yeah, this is an NFL defensive lineman. He can put a move on you. But I think, again, with the position that Fuaga has here, he should win this rep through and through. And he still does win the rep, I think, but could have won it a little more cleanly. I really am nitpicking to find things to improve for Fuaga. The things he has to improve are just consistency, making sure his conditioning is tip-top, making sure that his technical skills, the use of his hands, are clean. One last play here that I just think was chalked up to a little bit of tiredness or exhaustion is against Oregon in 2023 in the second quarter here. Initially gets out and gets good position on this block. This is either an outside zone or some kind of stretch play. But this defender quickly stands him up because he's come out a little bit high out of the snap. And Damian Martinez doesn't do him any favors by running directly into the gap where the defensive lineman is. Not that Martinez had a great array of options here. His best bet is probably reaching outside of this number 7 to try and hit that end there, but there's a linebacker over the top, so, probably just, I'm guessing Martinez is just thinking, eat this run, get back to the line of scrimmage, make it happen on another down. But I think Fuaga has a chance to win this because he doesn't come out terribly high, and it looks like his hands are still landing on that defensive lineman. It's just very quickly into that rep, the defensive lineman is able to stagger his feet, and as we've seen, Fuaga can move these dudes. He's moved dudes that seem to be like twice this guy's size. So I just chalked this one up to some stamina, whether it's the stamina to make sure he's consistently coming out low out of the snap, or just finishing blocks. Again, you have to look for these plays. They don't happen all that often. There's a lot more plays that look like the first 2 sections of this video. Really nitpicking here, but. Just want to try to create as full a picture of the player as possible, even though I do love the guy. Last section of the video here, Just going to go over his ability to read and react to defenses, to take on two assignments, whether it's something that's in the normal structure of a play, like, a twist or a stunt where defensive linemen switch assignments, or if it's a case like on this play where he just decides, you know what, we have an extra guy unaccounted for. I got us on this one. Against Washington in 2023, what we see here is he takes care of this defensive lineman initially, and there is an unblocked man who makes a move towards the outside. So he disengages with his initial man, who the running back has passed, and just kind of clears out this unaccounted defender. And so what you see here is boom, clears him out, boom, blocks off that other guy. This is not his role. This is not something that necessarily gets written into a play. So just very nice heads up play to make sure that secondary defender has some hands, has some body on him, just to clean up this run a little bit. This next play against Washington, just an old-fashioned stunt. Defensive linemen switch spots, and doesn't matter. It's just two guys getting blocked in different places than they thought they were going to get blocked. For all of the meanness and power that Fuaga has, I love seeing the patience on display to just wait for that second defender, not to get over eager, and also to very cleanly pass off this initial assignment inside. And then to have the athleticism, because I've talked at length about his power, he really does have some great athleticism and a great ability to move in space. He's very balanced. He's very flexible. He's as good an athlete as you're going to find. It just looks a little bit different because he's a mauler. He plays with a brutality, but he's very good at what he does. He's a technician. He's an athlete, and you see it all on display here. Again, I don't feel great about throwing Utah clips in here. Their defensive line is pretty undersized. But he does keep his eyes up well on this stunt. And I think it's important to look at these third down reps for pass blocking for offensive linemen, because when you're in a 3rd and 11, the defense knows you have to throw the ball. And so they're starting to get amped up. They very clearly know their assignments, as the pass rushers are going to be super aggressive. So this pass rush, they execute this twist pretty well. Fuaga starts to get his hands ready here for this edge defender, and they time it really well. There's two dudes with hands on Fuaga at one time for a split second there. Guard does a nice job of passing off the one guy, taking the other. But when Fuaga gets number 0 passed off to him, we'll just see. His eyes are up. There's also the fact that he can... looks like he can block two guys at once, so always great. But this number 0 is not going to gain any ground against him. It's just uncanny power packaged with incredible balance. Like I said, flexibility, patience, the ability to read defensive lines, not overreact, but always be pretty quick to react. Just very, very rare prospect at offensive line. This play against USC is an above and beyond play, in my opinion. Oregon State down 3, 3rd and 16 in the fourth quarter. USC knows that Oregon State is going to pass the ball. So what makes this an above and beyond play is not only how well he blocks when the defensive line knows to expect pass, but he helps out the guard with an interior lineman before he gets set for his assignment, and it doesn't affect his blocking. So just an above and beyond play here to go ahead, take that interior guy, get hands on that edge defender to clear him out, open up some space for the quarterback to rush out here, try to make a play in half speed. What we'll see here is just hands are up. You can see, it's hard to see, but it looks like he's splitting his vision right down the middle between where the edge defender and the defensive lineman are. So he's helping out with that interior defensive lineman. He could probably finish this block a little bit better, but quarterback has a lane to go through. Fuaga has helped account for two blocking assignments here. It's a really good play, and this was his 2022 campaign, so this wasn't even his final form. This is just what's kind of in his DNA. Against Oregon in 2023, we got a 4th and 6. Oregon knows pass is coming, and so just handles this stunt really well. Got a nice little twist here. He waits for that interior lineman to move to the edge and just shuts him down. And in particular, I like that he's got a little bit of a different technique against this guy, where he sort of just bear hugs him, throws his hands on the outsides of the defensive lineman's shoulders, which is just it's a different kind of technique for offensive line. Different guys play this position different ways. Fuaga mostly kept his hands on the interior because holding on to the interior of shoulders, he could just enforce all of his power. But that little, just knowing that he has some of that practice with this other technique is cool, because there's other things that are limited when you play the offensive line with that technique, with those hands landed on the outsides of pass rushers' shoulders. Then last play here, we're just going to look at a simple double team. Clears out the defensive lineman here, breaks off, clears out this linebacker, and just not a fun day when you're playing against Taliese Fuaga. He helps move this defensive lineman 3 yards downfield, walks him right into the linebacker's lap, and then says, "Hello, Mr. Linebacker. Would you like to meet the first down marker?" Just not a super flashy play, but it's clean, and there are so many reps like this in his bag. This is just at his core who he is. Even when he's not mauling, throwing dudes to the ground, launching guys yards down the field, he's just going to move defenders. It's incredible to watch. He's very consistent. He is just fun in a mean and strong way, and he seems to have fun playing the position, and it's a pleasure to watch. So that is Taliese Fuaga. That is the New Orleans Saints 2024 first-round draft pick. Now, I don't think Fuaga is the best offensive lineman in this class, and I know that's a little bit paradoxical. I spend all this time hyping the guy up. Mostly, I love Fuaga, not because I think he's the best offensive lineman in this class. I think, for my money, I think it's Olu Fashanu, and then just a sliver behind him, Joe Alt, and then next up is Troy Fautanu from Washington. And all those guys have different levels of athleticism, strength, ability to move in space, pass protection, things that I think overall make them more secure picks. But nobody was more fun to watch for me than Fuaga. I mean, the power that he shows on display, the meanness he plays with, the ability to move guys off the ball so much, whether it was in zone runs or whether it was in just gap scheme plays. Mostly we were looking at zone runs here. But just an incredible player, lots of fun to watch. He may not ever make a Pro Bowl. I'd be surprised if he never made a Pro Bowl, but he may not. I think this is just a guy who is going to be a great offensive lineman, a great offensive tackle for years to come. Initially, I thought maybe he might need to rotate into guard because of some of those quickness and stamina things that I worried about. Like at guard, I think he's as sure of a bet as there is, and it's just slightly a risk at tackle, not risk of him being a bust, I think, but just a risk that, you know what, you may not be using him at his very best at offensive tackle in the NFL, because that meanness, nastiness, mauling and everything is something that's better suited to guards because you're just having to enforce your will every single play. But he has the vision, athleticism, strength, size. I mean, he's got the size to play tackle. So New Orleans is going to kick the tires on it. It looks like he's going to be their left tackle going into the fall, and you got Ryan Ramczyk at right tackle, and so it's a great dynamic duo for New Orleans. Saints fans, you got a good one. I hope you enjoy it. Again, if you like the video, make sure to take a second to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell so that you know the next time I'm on here talking about football at the pro or college level. This was a fun one. This is, again, like I said, my favorite guy in the draft, so hope you enjoyed it. I am going to enjoy my whiskey, watch a little Netflix. Hope you do whatever you need to do to unwind. Peace.